Tori Roloff of Little People, Big World laments the passing of one of my favorite people. Greetings, viewers, greetings from my channel again. Please click the bell symbol and subscribe to the channel for the most recent news updates. When her grandma passed away during the holiday, former Little People, Big World actress Tori Roloff experienced a significant loss. The mother of three posted a lovely collection of black and white images of the late matriarch on Instagram this week along with the sad news. Her grandma was shown in the first picture sitting in a chair with Roloff's infant son, Josiah. Jackson and Lila, Tori's other two kids, were sitting at their great-grandmother's feet. The next picture featured Roloff with a graduation cap, with her grandmother grinning triumphantly next to her. The third picture featured her grandmother holding one of the children as a baby and looking up at her with adoration. Roloff captioned the photo, "This world lost one of my favorite people just before Christmas. My Marmee, my grandma," she added. To know Marmee was to experience tenderness, generosity, and love. She was one of the greatest individuals I have ever met, and I hope I can inherit some of her compassion and kindness. She never refused anyone and was always so giving with her time and money. I am incredibly thankful for the time I spent with her over the past 5 years, as we were quite fortunate to have her so close. I thank God every day that I had such an amazing grandma, and I know that she is with him now looking down on all of us, Roloff added, adding that she was thankful her grandmother had the chance to get to know her children, which is the greatest gift I could have ever gotten or they could have received from her. "Marmee, I love you so much," she said at the end of her post. "I'm really sad for your loss. Tori, I'm grateful that you have the memories you do, and that your children were able to witness and learn from her as they grew up. Her grace and kindness are a blessing. I wish you love and comfort." One fan responded, "God will see you through this tough time, and everything will be okay. Hugs are being sent." This past June, as I was expecting my first child, I lost my grandmother. She never got to meet my kid, and that nearly shattered my heart. A second person said, "Grandparents are a treasure. I wish they lived forever." Roloff, Zach, and Tori at last is how Jinger and Jeremy Vuolo described their reality crossover moment. When Zach Roloff and his wife Tori Roloff met Jinger Vuolo, née Duggar, and husband Jeremy Vuolo, it was a TLC crossover. At last, we get to meet in person. Tori, 33, tagged Zach, 35, Jinger, 31, and Jeremy, 37, in a selfie of the two couples that she shared on her Instagram stories. Jinger reposted the image to her own Instagram story shortly after Tori did, writing, "It was the best having you all here." Although it sounds like the Roloffs came to California to visit the Vuolos, neither Tori nor Jinger gave an explanation for why the couples met. Although fans will have to wait and see if that was the cause for their visit, it's possible that Tori and Zach got together to appear on the Jinger and Jeremy podcast. Fans will probably be surprised to learn that, despite both couples having appeared on TLC shows for a number of years, Tori and Zach had never met Jinger and Jeremy before their current encounter. While Tori and Zach featured on Little People, Big World with his family until they left the show after season 25, Jinger and Jeremy both starred on 19 Kids and Counting On with her family until the second show was canceled in 2021. Let's just address the most pressing issue. Will Little People, Big World be our next stop? Tori stated on a February 2024 episode of their podcast, Raising Heights. Then Zach said, "We aren't. We were rather explicit about that in the previous cycle. I don't believe it has been formally announced to people that we are not returning to Little People, Big World," she added. "We're finished. That chapter in our lives is now closed." Jinger and Jeremy stayed on Counting On until the program was canceled after her brother Josh Duggar was arrested for child pornography, while Tori and Zach decided to quit LPBW. Jinger remembered receiving a call from the network informing him that the show was canceled. "I put my arms around Jeremy and sobbed when the call was over. Hard," she said in her memoir Becoming Free Indeed, published in January 2023. That day, a lot of emotions came out of me. I was depressed. Since I was about 10 years old, filming had been a constant in my life. I missed the energy and excitement of interacting with all the creative people when the show was on break and the crews weren't around for a few months. the former reality star added. My family and the producers collaborated to develop episode concepts, coming up with original ideas to show audiences a little bit of our daily lives was enjoyable. Jinger continued by acknowledging that she was surprised that her family's performances continued for as long as they did. My family thought the show would only go for a season or two in the beginning. According to her memoir, it didn't seem possible that many Americans would be interested in a family with our conservative values. However, TLC renewed the program every year. That wasn't a burden for the majority of my life. Zach Roloff of Little People, Big World releases a brutal public service announcement regarding dwarfism and public urinals when it comes to urinals in public facilities. Zach Roloff isn't holding back. In the Thursday, January 16th episode of his and his wife Tori Roloff's Raising Heights podcast, the 34-year-old Little People, Big World alumnus expressed his direct opinions about bathrooms, saying, "All things ICK men's bathrooms have urinals, and there's a short one." Before reciting the incident that started his tirade, Zach said, "There are 50 million tall ones, and then there is one short one. Then I enter the bathroom and see a guy who is 6 feet 2. Do you know what urinal he's using? Why do you believe he's utilizing the shorter one?" When Tori, 33, questioned, her husband said, "You have to walk a few more feet down to use your appropriate size urinal because it's the first one you hit." "I can't, so I enter and stand behind him." Zach put his palm to his chest and stated, "The tall ones are like up here. They stand 3 feet tall. I'm not sure if it's a child issue or a disability related to the Americans with Disabilities Act." Zach continued by saying that there are certain exceptions to the general rule and that people should use common sense and greater awareness when it comes to public restroom etiquette. "The same idea is applicable in either case," he continued. "If every urinal is full at the conclusion of a sporting event, perhaps. I can be heard clearly on this by anyone who has dwarfism. This is well known. This is a well-known fact." The former TLC star's PSA was then approved by Tori. "Don't use the first urinal anymore. Tell your husbands, wives." In the post's comments area, fans of the long-standing pair quickly expressed their support for Zach and Tori. One social media user said, "I love your conversations, all humorous, serious, and informative." Many thanks. Another person remarked, "I respect your demeanor, Zach. You are very self-assured. I greatly admire the manner in which you speak and manage situations with such poise. You're a fantastic example of embracing your identity and not letting anything stop you. You guys make such a great team, and Tori is very fortunate." When Little People, Big World debuted on TLC in 2006, Zach and the rest of the Roloff family were first exposed to reality TV viewers. After meeting on the Roloff family farm the previous year, Zach and Tori began dating in 2011 and were married in 2015. They have a daughter, Lila, and 2 sons, Jackson and Josiah. Zach and Tori announced their departure on their podcast in April 2024, one day before the season 25 finale of the long-running reality series. "Whether or not we are asked to return, I believe the chapter has closed." At the time, Zach stated, "We've made it pretty clear we're done with that chapter for multiple reasons." Similar to Small People, Large Worlds when it comes to Zach and Tori Roloff, Matt Roloff is completely different. Discuss the possibility of homeschooling their 3 children. Tori and Zach Roloff talk about the possibility of teaching their 3 children at home. Zach and Tori Roloff are talking candidly about the potential to alter their kids' educational program. "Take each year as it comes." Tori responds to the fans' query on whether they would be amenable to removing their children from the conventional educational system. "I believe that each child is unique. Each year is unique." Prior to deciding to become a full-time stay-at-home mother, Tori, 33, worked as a kindergarten teacher. She said she wasn't sure if she would force her to go back to the classroom. She tells the idea, "Never say never. I don't think I would return to public education in the current environment. However, as a stay-at-home mother who also gets to volunteer and substitute at my children's school, I feel like I have the best of all worlds right now." She continues, "I think once all of our kids are in school, I can't sit at home." Tori continued by explaining that she disliked the demanding testing schedule that began as early as kindergarten and that she loved the aspect of her work that involved working with the kids. The former reality TV personality claims that her perspective on what she wants her kids to learn from their schooling has altered as a result of her experience teaching in the public school system. When you're testing them all the time, and they're just 5, it was difficult, she explains. I'm referring to the general rigor of education. I just wanted my children to be decent people now that I'm a mother. I don't want to test them every other day. It was really challenging for me. Instead, I want them to attend school and learn how to behave in social situations. Tori Roloff of LBBW remembers questions from friends and family about whether Zach was right for her. Zach and Tori mentioned that Jackson is quite gregarious in school, while Josiah and Lila are too young for traditional school environments. After 25 seasons, Tori and Zach formally left Little People, Big World in April. Since then, the couple has been occupied with commemorating their own life achievements alongside their kids. Zach and Tori celebrated Josiah's 2nd birthday earlier this month. Click below to learn more about Tori and Zach's family. After meeting Zach and learning more about their relationship, Tori claimed that the height just didn't matter, despite her loved one's initial skepticism. Written by Esther Kong, published at 4:17 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on June 20th, 2024. Despite being wed for almost 10 years, Tori acknowledges that she and her loved ones didn't initially envision her husband. A mixed-height relationship was discussed by the former Little People, Big World stars in a Tuesday, June 20th episode of their podcast, Raising Heights. In response to the question of whether she had ever contemplated not marrying someone taller than 6 feet, Tori said that she had never done so. The truth is no, she stated plainly. It's odd because, as a child, I had a lot of admirers. I don't mean to come across as arrogant, but there were a few boys that I would dismiss as being too short. Now that she's had time to think back on her dating experiences, Tori clarified that she was looking for an excuse to end her relationships rather than height being a factor. I don't really care for this individual. I was saying, I don't see myself with this person, she added, explaining that meeting Zach caused her viewpoint to change. There was nothing wrong with you once I met you, despite the fact that you were taller than I had anticipated. Oh, I can't date this guy because he's too short, was not anything I could analyze. It wasn't just Tori who was hesitant at first. The TLC personality disclosed that her father had doubts about Zach's suitability as well. When I was getting ready to go on a date with you, I recall introducing myself and showing my dad a photo of you. He said, "No."
What?
Like, no. What are you discussing? You know, this isn't a guy I had in mind for you. This is wrong, she remembered. He said, "Are you sure?" Literally. He said, "I don't know about this. Several times before he met you." She chuckled. "I joke all the time because I'm pretty sure my dad likes you better than me now." The height gap between them was definitely overlooked once her father met Zach, according to Tori, who also claimed he could see why she was attracted to him. "I think that there were definitely, questions when we started dating from my friends and family," she said. "However, after meeting you, everyone said, gosh, I understand this girl's attraction to him. The height simply didn't matter, even though I understood the situation and the relationship." Tori and Zach met during the 2010 pumpkin season while Tori was working at Roloff Farms and they were picking squash together. In the end, they started dating in 2011 and were married in July 2015 on the family property. They have since welcomed 3 children: Josiah, Lila,